Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Iran now considers all U.S. military bases in the region and all 40 to 50,000 American military personnel stationed here as legitimate targets.
Yesterday, Trump was at his private club in New Jersey. Last week, he gave Iran 2 weeks. It was a strategic timeout to give diplomacy a chance. But within days, Trump lost patience. So yesterday afternoon, he gave the final go-ahead. He told his forces to strike Iran. Within hours, American bombers took off. B-2 aircraft entered Iranian airspace. They dropped bunker-buster bombs on Fordo, one of Iran's most heavily fortified sites. And American submarines fired missiles. Now they hit the Natanz and Isfahan nuclear sites.
Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Today's strike changes everything. Just last week, Trump seemed bullish on diplomacy. Within days, he pulled the trigger. He didn't even wait for his own deadline to expire and started a new phase in this conflict.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president.
So what changed? Reports say the backchannel between Washington and Tehran collapsed. A meeting was being planned. Türkiye was mediating between the US and Iran, but it never happened. The plan failed. Apparently, Türkiye sent a message to Iranian officials. It was an invitation for talks with the US. Now, Trump had authorized his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to talk to Iran, but the Iranian officials couldn't reach their supreme leader. They wanted approvals from Ayotallah Khamenei. Khamenei was underground. He was in hiding due to assassination fears. So Iranians couldn't establish contact, and Türkiye's mediation collapsed. The White House lost confidence. Trump had already been briefed on the military options. Last Tuesday, he approved strike plans, but he held back on giving the final order. He wanted to see if Iran would halt its uranium enrichment. 2 days later, on Thursday, Trump repeated that Iran had a maximum of 2 weeks. But the very next day, he said his patience was running out. From this point on, the military option gained serious traction. There were 2 more factors that pushed Trump closer to a strike. First, Israel's actions over the past week. They targeted Iran's nuclear infrastructure and degraded its air defense systems. Second, America's own intelligence assessment. U.S. officials feel Iran is at its weakest in decades. On the military front, Tehran was on the defensive, and Israel has degraded its proxy network systematically over the last couple of years. So Trump's team saw an opening. They believed the timing was right to strike Iran's nuclear program. These judgments shaped Trump's thinking.
The Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing.
But one condition outweighed everything. Trump wanted Iran to completely halt uranium enrichment. Tehran refused to do that.
For us to come back to diplomacy, the aggression should be stopped. It is obvious I cannot go to negotiation with the United States when our people are under bombardments, under the support of the United States.
Iran wanted Israel to stop its military operations first. Last Friday, Iran's foreign minister was in Geneva. He met with European leaders and delivered a clear message. Iran said Israeli aggression must stop. Only then can they consider diplomacy? Now, that clearly failed to move the needle with Trump. Now, Iran says it will respond. Already, missile strikes on Israel are intensifying. Iran's Atomic Energy Organization issued a statement. It signaled that Tehran will keep its nuclear program alive. On Iranian state TV, warnings are being issued. A commentator said, and I quote, "Every U.S. citizen or military member in the region would now be a legitimate target." The American strike has raised the stakes. The window for diplomacy has been shut. West Asia today stands on the brink of a major conflict.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
At $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor
Hindi,
$30 trillion kakaj mo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
$4 trilhão.
Portuguese,
Por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.